Wait, I saw this before. I know this feeling that I have already felt before. Have you ever felt in that strange situation? That strange feeling that you've lived this exact moment before? Yes, déjà vu. What do you know about this phenomenon? Is it a reality or another universe? Some of us know it well, that sudden, unexplainable familiarity. That one thing from our dreams that came true. That feeling where you know what's about to happen, but you have no idea how. It's hard to describe and even harder to explain. But do you know what déjà vu really is? Is it some kind of magic, a trick of the brain? Or what if it was something more? What if this situation wasn't just a glitch in memory, but proof that we are living in multiple realities at once? What if it is a loop? Imagine you're walking down a street in a city you've never visited before. You turn a corner and suddenly a deep, strange feeling washes over you. You recognize the buildings, the smells, even the sounds of the street. You know you've been here before, but you haven't, at least not in this life. Some people believe déjà vu is just a simple mistake in the brain. Scientists say it happens when the brain gets confused, thinking it's recalling a past event when it's actually experiencing something new. This might be due to a small delay in how the brain processes information, making it feel like a memory rather than a real-time experience. But what if déjà vu isn't just a brain glitch? What if it's something we dreamed about before? Some people experience this illusion and suddenly remember that they saw that moment in a dream. Experiencing this feeling in a dream feels even stranger. You realize inside the dream that you've already lived that moment. But is the dream predicting reality, or is reality just mirroring the dream? And if you're as fascinated by these mysteries as we are, just hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, where we dive deeper into this journey. But what if there's more to it than that? Some researchers suggest that this memory glitch could be proof of the multiverse, the idea that infinite versions of our world exist at the same time. What if for a brief second we are experiencing a memory from another version of ourselves? Maybe in another timeline, another version of you did walk down that street before, and in that moment, the two realities cross, and you remember something that hasn't happened in this version of your life. This would explain why déjà vu often feels so intense, so real. It's not just a vague sense of familiarity, it's a deep, unsettling feeling, like you are meant to remember. Some people even report feeling like they know what will happen next, as if they've lived that moment before. Could this be because in another reality they have? Some believe déjà vu connects to dreams, glimpses into other realities we've unknowingly visited. Have you ever dreamed of a place or conversation only to experience it later? Perhaps the eternal soul carries these memories across time, creating a strange feeling of familiarity, as if we are remembering a life we once lived in another realm. Whether it is a simple brain glitch or proof of something bigger, this glitch remains one of the strangest experiences of human life. It challenges our understanding of time, memory, and reality itself. So the next time you feel it, that strange, ghostly sense of familiarity, ask yourself, have I lived this before? Or are you just remembering a moment from another reality? Is déjà vu a loop? Could it be proof of the multiverse or a parallel universe? There is a story of someone who shared a mysterious experience from childhood, an event that left them questioning the nature of reality. One ordinary morning, a young child and her mother stood outside waiting for the school bus. The sun was rising, the air was crisp, and birds were chirping in the distance. Everything seemed normal, but an unusual sense of familiarity struck. As their neighbor approached, carrying a bag of groceries, she smiled and stopped to chat with the child's mother. At that moment, an overwhelming realization occurred. This exact moment had already happened before. The child, filled with excitement and confusion, blurted out, "I have seen this before. This moment has already happened." But the mother and the neighbor simply laughed, dismissing it as nothing more than a child's imagination. Yet, deep inside, an unsettling certainty lingered. This was not imagination. It was something more. The event felt too real, too precise, too identical to be a mere coincidence. Days passed, but the feeling of familiarity never faded. Then, it happened again. At the same place and the same time, the neighbor walked by with the same bag of groceries, wearing the same expression. Once again, she stopped to talk to the child's mother, repeating the exact same words from before. Even the breeze through the trees and the chirping of the birds felt identical. It was as if reality had rewound itself, forcing the moment to play out again. A chilling sensation crept in. At first, logic tried to explain it away. Perhaps the neighbor followed a strict shopping routine, always passing by at the same time. Maybe the conversation was similar but not truly identical. But as the details continued to match with eerie precision, it became impossible to ignore. And then, it happened for the third time. This time, fear set in. It was no longer just a moment of déjà vu, it was a loop. The same actions, the same words, the same sequence of events repeated again and again. Reality itself seemed to be stuck, as if someone had hit the rewind button on life. But the strangest part? No one else noticed. The mother and the neighbor went about their conversation as if everything was normal. There was no hesitation, no recognition of the bizarre repetition that was unfolding. It was as if only one person was aware of the loop, trapped in a cycle no one else could perceive. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it stopped. The neighbor continued her usual grocery trips, but the repetition never returned. Conversations changed, patterns broke, and life moved on. Yet, the mystery remained. Why did the same moment replay multiple times? Some might dismiss it as a mere trick of the brain, a glitch in memory processing. Others believe déjà vu occurs when the brain mistakenly interprets a new experience as something already stored. But what if it was something else entirely? Could this experience be evidence of parallel realities overlapping? Was this child momentarily slipping into another version of existence where the same event had played out before? If reality is not as fixed as it seems, could déjà vu be the mind's way of recognizing these shifts? Science suggests déjà vu might be linked to the way the brain processes memories, but the explanations fail to account for repeated experiences of the same event. Could it be that in those moments, two timelines briefly align, allowing a glimpse into another version of life? This experience haunted the child for years, shaping the way reality was perceived forever. Though déjà vu still occurred in later life, it was never again experienced in such a frightening, looping pattern. The true nature of déjà vu remains one of the greatest mysteries of human existence. Whether a simple neurological trick or a glimpse into the multiverse, it forces us to question the boundaries of time, memory, and reality itself. For centuries, people have experienced this illusion and struggled to explain it. That strange, fleeting feeling that you've lived a moment before, even when you know it's impossible. It happens in an instant, making your heart race and your mind search for an answer. Some believe it's a sign of past lives, a memory from another existence slipping through to the present. Others think it's just the brain playing tricks, a simple misfiring of neurons creating the illusion of familiarity. But what if both of these explanations miss the real truth? What if déjà vu is something far bigger? What if it's proof that multiple versions of you exist, all living slightly different realities? The idea that we could be living in multiple realities isn't new. Scientists have explored the concept of the multiverse, the idea that infinite parallel worlds exist where different versions of ourselves make different choices. Some theories suggest that every decision we make creates a new branch of reality. In one version of your life, you might have chosen to go left at a crossroad. In another, you went right. Maybe in one reality, you took a job in a different city, met different people, and lived an entirely different life. If these parallel realities exist, what if déjà vu is the moment when they briefly overlap? You're walking down a street you've never been to before. Suddenly, a strong wave of familiarity washes over you. You know the layout of the buildings, you recognize the sounds, the smells, even the people around you, but you know you've never been there before. Your brain tries to make sense of it, but the feeling is undeniable. You remember this place. What if in another version of your life, in another reality, you have walked down that same street before, and for a split second, the two realities align, allowing you to glimpse a moment from another version of yourself? Some researchers believe that déjà vu is connected to memory, specifically the way our brain processes and stores experiences. According to studies, this strange feeling is most common in people between the ages of 15 and 25. This might be because their brains are still highly active, forming and retrieving memories at a rapid rate. But what if it's not just about memory? What if younger minds are more open to perceiving these reality overlaps? As we grow older and our thinking becomes more structured, maybe we lose the ability to notice these moments when different timelines collide. There are also studies that suggest déjà vu is a kind of error detection system in the brain. Researchers have found that when people experience the illusion, the frontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and problem-solving, becomes highly active. It's as if the brain knows something isn't quite right and is trying to resolve the conflict between what it thinks it remembers and what is actually happening. Could this mean that this feeling is our brain catching a moment when reality doesn't align the way it should? Some scientists have even managed to artificially induce déjà vu in lab experiments. By using hypnosis and memory manipulation, they created situations where people felt a strong sense of familiarity with things they had never actually seen before. This suggests that the fleeting past might not be a simple glitch, but rather a built-in function of the brain, one that we don't yet fully understand. Others believe that déjà vu is connected to dreams. Have you ever had a dream about a place, a conversation, or a situation only to experience it later in real life? Some people report feeling strange in moments that seem identical to something they once dreamed about but had long forgotten. What if, in our dreams, we are actually glimpsing different versions of reality? Maybe our minds travel through parallel timelines while we sleep, and when we wake, we forget most of it. Then, when something in real life matches what we saw in another reality, that deep, eerie sense of knowing floods over us. There have been many strange cases where people report this experience that seem to go beyond simple memory errors. Some claim to have predicted events before they happened. Others feel like they knew what someone was about to say before the words left their mouth. While most scientists dismiss these as coincidences, they do make you wonder, could this be a glimpse of fate? A moment where the future has already happened in another reality, and for a brief second, we become aware of it. Some people experience constant déjà vu, where they feel like they are permanently stuck in a loop. A British man named Pat Long suffered from one of the worst cases ever recorded. He experienced such an extreme illusion that he felt as though he had already lived entire days before. He would walk into a store and know exactly what the cashier was going to say. He would watch the news and remember seeing the headlines before they had even aired. His condition was linked to temporal lobe epilepsy, which suggests a connection between déjà vu and the brain's memory processing. But could it also mean something deeper? What if his mind was somehow tuning into multiple versions of reality at once, leaving him trapped in an endless cycle of familiarity? There's also the Matrix theory, the idea that it is a glitch in a simulated reality. In the Matrix, Neo sees a black cat walk past a doorway twice. He casually mentions, "Oh, déjà vu," but his team reacts with alarm. In the movie, it happens when the system changes something, creating a ripple in reality. If we were living in a simulation, could this be a sign that something has been altered? A small glitch in the program? Maybe at that moment, we're seeing a repeated frame in the simulation, like a small rewinding of time before the system corrects itself. Whether déjà vu is caused by the brain, dreams, the multiverse, or even a simulated reality, one thing is clear. It is one of the most mysterious experiences we all share. It happens unexpectedly, leaving us with more questions than answers. It makes us wonder about time, reality, and the nature of our existence itself. So the next time you feel that strange, familiar sensation, when a moment unfolds exactly as you remember it, even though you know it's never happened before, stop and think. What if, in that moment, you're glimpsing another version of yourself, a life just slightly different from your own? Maybe, just maybe, déjà vu isn't just a trick of the brain. Maybe it's a doorway to something much bigger. In one experiment, scientists wanted to understand déjà vu by trying to create it in a controlled environment. They used hypnosis on participants and told them that they would recognize certain images or words even though they had never seen them before. Surprisingly, when the participants later saw these images or words, many of them felt a strong sense of familiarity, as if they had seen them in the past. This experiment suggests that déjà vu might not just be a simple memory mistake. Instead, it could be influenced by how our brains process and recognize information. If a hypnotized person can be made to remember something they never experienced, could our minds sometimes create false memories in real life too? Or, even more mysteriously, could déjà vu be a sign of something much deeper, perhaps a moment when different versions of reality overlap? This study raises many questions. Does our brain sometimes detect memories from another timeline? Is déjà vu proof that we are connected to experiences beyond our current reality? While science still searches for answers, this experiment shows that déjà vu is more complex than we once thought. Scientists have discovered that déjà vu is linked to the frontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and problem-solving. When someone experiences déjà vu, this area of the brain becomes highly active, almost as if it is detecting an error or trying to resolve a conflict. But what kind of conflict could be happening? One theory suggests that déjà vu might be more than just a memory glitch. It could be a sign that our brain is recognizing a split in reality. Imagine two versions of your life running side by side, with small differences between them. In one version, you took a different route to work. In another, you met a different person at a cafe. These differences might be tiny, but what if, for a brief moment, both realities overlap? When déjà vu happens, your brain may be detecting this overlap. It senses that something feels familiar, but it can't fully explain why. Your mind tries to process the information, triggering high activity in the frontal cortex as it searches for answers. Could it be that this is the moment when two timelines briefly touch? This theory could explain why déjà vu feels so real and unsettling. It's not just the brain misfiring. It could be a deep, instinctive response to something strange happening in reality itself. While science still debates the cause, the idea that it is a glimpse into parallel worlds makes it one of the most fascinating mysteries of the human mind. One of the strangest things about déjà vu is that it happens in completely random moments. You could be walking through a park you've never visited before, sitting in a cafe trying a new dish, or meeting a stranger for the first time, and suddenly a strange feeling washes over you. You know you've seen this before. You remember the way the trees look, the way the air smells, or even the exact words that someone is about to say. But how can you remember something that has never happened to you? Scientists believe déjà vu may be caused by the brain mistakenly recognizing a new experience as something familiar. It could be a small glitch in how our memories are processed, where the brain stores the present moment as a past memory by accident. But another theory suggests that this might be the sign of something deeper. What if in another reality you have already lived this moment? What if for a few seconds two different timelines overlap, and your brain catches a glimpse of another version of your life? Whatever the true cause, déjà vu remains one of the most fascinating mysteries of the human mind, making us question the nature of time and reality itself. One theory about this suggests that it happens when the brain processes information too quickly. Normally, when you experience something, your brain takes in the details, what you see, hear, and feel, and stores them as memories. This process happens almost instantly, so you don't even notice it. But sometimes, there can be a tiny delay in how the brain processes this information. Instead of handling everything in real time, the brain might accidentally register the moment as a memory before you fully experienced it. Then, just a fraction of a second later, your brain processes the same event again, this time as if it's happening right now. Because your brain already stored it as a memory, it feels like you've seen it before, even though it's happening for the first time. This could explain why déjà vu feels so strange. Your brain tricks you into thinking you're remembering something from the past, when in reality, it's just a tiny processing error. While this theory makes sense from a scientific perspective, it doesn't explain why déjà vu sometimes feels so real, as if we truly have lived that moment before. Could it be something more than just a brain glitch? The mystery continues. But here's the thing. What if it's not a delay at all? What if déjà vu happens because, for a brief moment, you are experiencing two realities at once? Some scientists believe that it works like an error check in a computer. When a system detects a mistake, it quickly corrects it to keep everything running smoothly. What if our brains do something similar? Maybe when we experience this, our mind is catching a glitch, a small mistake in how we process reality. This could explain why déjà vu feels so strange. It's not just a sense of familiarity, it's a deep feeling that something is wrong. For a brief moment, our brain senses that reality doesn't quite match what we expect. It might be a tiny mismatch in how memories are processed, or it could be something much bigger, like a moment where two different versions of reality overlap. This theory makes the glitch more than just a simple brain trick. It suggests that our minds are constantly scanning for mistakes, making sure our perception of the world stays accurate. But if that's true, what exactly is the brain correcting? Could it be fixing small errors in memory, or is it detecting something deeper, something about the true nature of reality? Whatever the answer, déjà vu remains one of the greatest mysteries of the human experience. Think about The Matrix. In the movie, it happens when the system changes something. A black cat crosses a doorway twice, and Neo suddenly realizes that his world isn't real, it's a simulation. What if our world works the same way? What if déjà vu is a glitch in our reality, a sign that something has been altered? Of course, not everyone believes in simulation theory. Some think déjà vu is just the result of how our brains handle memories. Others believe it could be connected to dreams, that we sometimes dream about places or situations before we actually experience them. But what if all of these explanations are partially right? What if it is a combination of memory, dreams, and something much bigger? Some scientists believe that déjà vu works like an error check in a computer. When a system detects a mistake, it quickly corrects it to keep everything running smoothly. What if our brains do something similar? Maybe when we experience déjà vu, our mind is catching a glitch, a small mistake in how we process reality. This could explain why déjà vu feels so strange. It's not just a sense of familiarity, it's a deep feeling that something is wrong. For a brief moment, our brain senses that reality doesn't quite match what we expect. It might be a tiny mismatch in how memories are processed, or it could be something much bigger, like a moment where two different versions of reality overlap. Some people believe déjà vu could be linked to aliens. What if extraterrestrial beings are studying us, and this is a side effect of their experiments? Some claim that déjà vu happens when aliens alter our memories or adjust reality in small ways, making us feel like we've lived a moment before. Could this be possible? Are we experiencing hidden interactions we don't understand? Or maybe it's not. Maybe déjà vu is just a trick of the brain, a small glitch in memory. But what if it isn't? Maybe we'll never know for sure. But the next time you experience déjà vu, that strange fleeting moment of familiarity, stop and ask yourself, have I lived this before? Or are you just remembering a moment from a life in another reality? Share your experiences in the comments below.